Hey Laura, how you doing? So yeah, I had to jump in here. This is very good. Okay, I've got some general design comments and some things for you to think about, but this is just fantastic. I really appreciate what you're doing here. Okay, a couple of things. So this is your six pack, the end of the holder, which means there's a pretty big crease right here. I don't know if you've ever seen. Well, you have. Take a look. Typically, there's a big crease right there in the middle, and that it's significant enough that you might want to keep some graphics away from there. Plus, this is a pretty long line. It's pretty long going back and forth. I'm wondering if we could maybe do something a little bit differently, less centered, a little more asymmetrical to work around that crease. And also, I'm wondering if it might be better to do two columns. You would need two more facts, and these facts are, the graphics are fantastic. The graphs are a little bit unclear. I'll talk about that in a second, but I was thinking maybe three on each side, instead of these just one centered. I think this is going to look very stark when you're starting to think about the size this is going to be, because this is pretty big. I mean, it's the size of a six pack holder. It's pretty big. Okay. So, all right. So, okay, that looks great. This looks fantastic. I totally agree with putting the color to the charity color. That's really good thinking there. Another very smart thing that you've done is you're talking about eco-friendly cardboard, but I would also push the fact that this is a two-color print job. So there again, you're pointing to sustainability. You're using yellow and black, and that is it. That's very smart. Definitely key in on that in your notes. Okay, and then you're talking about your eco-friendly paper, but instead of saying eco-friendly paper, I don't know how you put it. How did you put it? Eco-friendly cardboard. Give us facts on that. It should be pretty easy. And I'm just saying, this is above and beyond what you've done. I mean, obviously you've really nailed the project, but I'm thinking more ahead towards portfolio when that time comes. Talk about the cardboard. Don't say it's friendly. Prove it. Show statistics. What are you using? Post-consumer fiber, non-bleached, etc., etc. Okay. Now the six-pack side holder, I think from this line up, about the halfway line up, looks fantastic, and then from about the 7/8 line down looks fantastic. In other words, this area right here is a little strange, and again we saw the same thing here. And I think the reason, I'll tell you what the reason is. It's a little thing that's going on with your centering. And I just don't like this whole centered thing. I really think it's everything is so nice. Now notice, everything else is nothing's centered. You don't have this crazy equilibrium in your negative space that creates just these completely mundane negative spaces around that centered area. Look at these gorgeous negative spaces all around here. And look at the gorgeous negative space that asymmetrical design causes, but you start centering things and you get some really weird results, okay? One of the reasons I think over here is because if you have this centered, okay, so there would be your center point. So basically that is centered, but it doesn't look like it is, and the thing that's throwing it off is the graphic. It's always a problem when you have a graphic and you're trying to center type along with other type that doesn't have a graphic, because depending on the placement of the graphic, whether it be left or right, the center won't look centered. It will look off balance, as it clearly does here. It looks like it's pushed over this way. My suggestion here, and the way I usually remedy this, is I position that manually. So don't forget your center line and just position that manually, because you're going to have to push that a little bit, I think, to the left. Because I think that there's so much negative space between the M and the R here. It's more than the M or the H and the C. So it's really causing this thing to kind of tip this way. So I would suggest pulling it over this way a little bit, nudge it over till it feels comfortable, or change the orientation from something more interesting than center align. Obviously, as you can see, I'm kind of anti-center anything. So, okay, so then we have the Smart Water. This is the six-pack water bottle holder. This is the other side. And again, right here, this nutritional fact should only be about that big. And it looks like you're forcing something in here to try to make it fit for lack of something else. So we got to get something else in there. All right, but that nutritional fact is just too big. Think of how this is going to look on the side of a six-pack. Side of a six-pack is pretty big. Okay, I wanted to go back to those facts real quick, which reminds me, disease from dirty water kills more people every year. Where and more people than what? Okay, so that's an incomplete thought. Clean water helps keep kids in school, especially girls. There's a period here, but no period there. In Africa alone, women spend 40 billion hours a year walking for water. That's a really significant fact right there. Wow. And then access to clean water gives more communities more time to fight poverty. Again, think about that center line. Okay, but just a couple of ways that those were worded. Then over here you have, this is really good, but again, you got this whole centered thing going on. Now this time, this looks like it's too far over to the left, Simps does. It's weird. It's so difficult working with center graphics and placement. It's difficult, as we can see. Again, over here, I would suggest if you're going to do on this side, if you're going to do 3 on this side, 3 on this side, do the same thing over on this side so it doesn't look so stark. Okay, just 3 facts here, 3 facts. Water facts are going to be easy to find. Excuse me. 24 countries receive water projects. Again, try to give more, is that a worldwide fact? Okay, water projects have been funded. Worldwide. 6,400,000 people have received clean water. That's an incomplete thought. 24 countries have received water projects. That's better. 25 local partners have committed to our vision. Okay, so those are pretty good. But again, we've got that center thing going on. Okay, so we've got your handle side. That's awesome. This is fantastic. A little concerned that the charity is really difficult to read back there behind that pattern. Charity water is very difficult to read. Poster looks phenomenal. Wondering if you can't kind of duplicate what you have going down here. In some of those areas, carry that over to the poster instead of starting something new. Do you see what I'm saying? All right, so I just wanted to jump in here. This is just fantastic. I'm so pleased. I'm really, really happy with where this is going. I hope you are too. Great job. If you have any questions or comments, please let me know. Okay, thank you.